Hello, my name is Ty Love, and today I will be talking to you about racism and going in depth about the definition of racism and how you can fight racism and just to better your knowledge about racism because a lot of people may think they know what racism is, but I don't think that they actually do. So, to begin, I'm going to start with the definition of racism. So, the definition of racism is the belief that, one race is superior to other races and that they're better than them or that they do better than them, and like it leads people to like discriminating against other races or just putting them down in certain situations, and like it leads to prejudices and other things like that. And so going off of that, I'm going to talk about the types of racism. So there's really three main types of racism that like are in our daily lives. And to start off with is individual racism. So individual racism is basically it's personal beliefs and like actions that like a individual has that go like a person's like racial discriminations, and it's just like based on like an individual. And then the second one is institutional racism. Institutional racism is like policies, practices, and structures that like they systematically like disadvantage like other races or cultures or just different types of people. And that again, that is institutional racism. And then the last one is systematic racism, which systematic racism is racism that is like embedded into society and into like the lives of everyone and how we live and stuff, and basically how like people can get jobs and do things like, so that's systematic or systemic racism. So a little bit of historical context about racism that I want to touch on for starters is like slavery, because slavery, everyone knows about slavery and how it affected people, and not only black people were in slavery because there's been many different types of slave, but slavery is like a way that racism kind of started because certain groups of people were ruled or they were controlled by other races, and even after slavery was abolished and wherever slavery was, like that led to people still like having those thoughts about those other people, or people still thinking even after slavery was abolished that slavery is still a thing, or that these people have power or they can treat these people different because they were slaves. And slavery is just one thing that like led to more like racism. So my next topic is prejudice versus discrimination, because there is a difference. And prejudice refers like more to like I would say prejudice is more like the beliefs of like, they're usually beliefs that aren't necessarily true about like a different race or different group of people or different culture. They're just like beliefs that people have about these people that they really don't know. Like for example, like someone could think, oh, because this guy is a certain race, like he may not be as smart as me, or he may not be able to do this job good because he's this race and he came from this background. But on the other hand, discrimination like that just refers to like the treatment like of other people, if that makes sense. The treat like just the way that people are treated based on their race and like they're discriminated and stuff. My next topic is stereotypes, and stereotypes, they're pretty easy to understand because stereotypes, it's I kind of can not, I don't necessarily consider it a prejudice, but it's kind of like that in my opinion, because a stereotype is also something that a person believes about a certain race or people. And just like the first couple things that come to my head is like stereotype for like maybe black people is that they like chicken and they like to eat watermelon, and maybe like a stereotype for white people that other races use is that like they don't season their food or some things. But stereotypes are just like these beliefs or thought about a certain race that aren't necessarily true. My next topic, the effects of racism. So racism has been around for so long, and it affects people like in a bunch of ways that people like don't even realize, because like racism, it can hold people back from like reaching their full potential in their career or whatever that they want to do in life, just because some people are racist towards them, and they keep them from getting a new job or being able to do things they want to do in life just because they are racist. And it can affect people like in a major way. And so my coming to one of my last points is anti-racism. And anti-racism is basically like it's a movement to like stop racism, and there's like different ways to go about stopping racism or being against racism and helping lead people to not be racist, which leads me to my final point about the steps to combat racism, which are educating yourself and being self-aware of things that are racist towards people, and challenging biases and stereotypes like with people, and helping them understand that those things are wrong, and those things like they don't help you like with anything in life, and supporting like policies for equality, and letting like everyone know that they're equal, from a child like being a child in grade school and to being an adult. And then the last step to combating racism is promoting inclusivity and diversity. And all these things will help. Like if people can learn these things from a young age, that will help them understand that racism is not okay, and it just affects the world in a negative way, all in all. But thank you for your time, and that is all I have today.